Welcome to Stay Sane Now with your host, Claudine Struck. Just when you thought life was out of control, here's a show just for you. Now, the host of Stay Sane Now, Claudine Struck.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Stay Sane Now radio show. I'm your host, Claudine Struck. Thank you for joining us today. The Stay Sane Now radio show is based on my book, How to Stay Sane When Life Isn't. These books offer fast and easy tips for renewing your mind, body, and spirit, no matter what challenges you may be facing. Taking time to cultivate a healthy mind, body, spirit completes the three-legged stool of contentment. When one falters, we stumble. The only thing we have control over is what's happening inside of us. We are not just bodies nor talking heads. Each of our guests today represent the mind, body, spirit. The theme of our show today is the connection between father and son. Fathers have a unique role in influencing and shaping their sons' lives. Influence from the dad is the key in shaping the academic performance and emotional and social development of their growing sons. Our first guest today is Denny Strecker. Kindness is the ultimate self-defense. We are working in the community to complete the 1 million random act of kindness. This is a community service project that Denny and his studio is involved in, and they invite everyone to participate, and you'll learn more about that in just a moment. He also offers a great study system for parents, and it's called The Best School Year, and it offers tools to keep their children on track to get a great education. The system actually involves all parties, the child, the parent, and the teacher. Welcome, Denny.
Thank you, Claudine. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So, Denny, in our short interview, I learned something about your studio, and I want you to share your approach to teaching martial arts to kids, because it's different than what I know.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what we see as our mission, is that it's not the general public's responsibility to know what we do. It's our job as entrepreneurs and business owners to make sure that the community understands what we are doing. And so what I've done is I take my martial arts program, and we're not really a karate school. We see ourselves as a life improvement center, and karate is simply the delivery system. So we're going to be working on skills like leadership, time management, kindness, courtesy, and goal setting, and taking those skills that martial arts is known for and showing children how to apply those in their everyday life. And in our classrooms, we take the katas or the self-defenses or the learning capacities in karate and then show the kids how to apply that into their everyday life in school.
But you also integrate the parents, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Basically what it is we have a child character system in which the parents it's basically what we call leadership training. And so instead of it sitting and lecturing to kids and saying, you need to be respectful, or you need to be you need to have time management, you need to set goals, and just basically expecting those behaviors, what we do is we actually give the steps to the parents on how to teach that skill to their child by actually having them actively participate in skills. So a simple example would be doing things the first time you're told, or answering with yes, sir, or yes, ma'am whenever you're spoken to.
You're listening to Stay Sane Now with your host, Claudine Struck. Now, back to Claudine.
Welcome back. I'm Claudine Struck, the host of Stay Sane Now. Our next guest, Ron Huxley, is a licensed child and family therapist in the state of California. He's been working with children as young as 2 years old on up on various childhood mental health disorders for the last 10 years. He is the author of the book, Love and Limits, Achieving a Balance in Parenting, and is the founder of the Parenting Toolbox community. Welcome, Ron.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Great to have you here. So, Ron, exactly what do you mean when you say dads contribute to love and limits?
Well, dads have an important psychological influence on their children, both boys and girls, that is different than mothers. And unfortunately, a lot of times in our society, this isn't well recognized or is often minimized in terms of the dad's role in the family, but it does have a very important function in importance both in males and females.
Can you explain to our listeners, in our short conversation you had mentioned emotional IQ, and I thought before examining the emotional IQ or how to develop one, can you just fill our listeners in on what you mean by emotional IQ?
Sure. An emotional IQ is different than intellectual IQ. That intellectual IQ is something that you would do a test and you would say they have so many abilities to excel in certain areas like reading or writing, that kind of thing. But an emotional IQ is the adeptness at which a child has to read other people's social cues, to be empathic to other people's needs, to be able to make friends and get along in social environments. So when kids don't have this, in particular boys, when they don't get this, they will suffer socially. And they can become bullies, they can become kind of outcasts, they can be isolated by other children. And later on in life, it proves to be quite detrimental in terms of their intimate relationships and also in the business field. There's been many studies that show that people who have high social or emotional IQs do much better in leadership roles in various businesses.
You're listening to Stay Sane Now with your host, Claudine Struck. Now, back to Claudine.
Welcome back. I'm Claudine Struck, the host of Stay Sane Now. Our next guest, Joel Austin, he is a formidable force in the fatherhood movement, a proud graduate of Cheney University, the youngest of 4 children. He is a single father of 4, a veteran, and the founder and CEO of Daddy University, Inc. He defines himself as a father first and acknowledges his family as helping him value the importance of family, hard work, education, and communication. Welcome, Joel.
Thank you so much, Claudine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great to have you here. As your presence, I'm sure, impacts and shapes lives. What
it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were a single father of 4. Wow, that's amazing.
No. You juggle.
So I guess my first question was going to be, what inspired you to create the Daddy University?
When I found out how much I didn't know. I found out how much I didn't know by starting to raise my children, and then increasingly found out that there wasn't that much written, and there wasn't that much to find. There wasn't a lot of websites. There weren't a lot of information. There wasn't a lot of information detailed to men either. There was a lot of parenting information, but it was for moms, and we still speak different languages, so it was hard for me to understand.
So you set about creating an entity to empower and inform.
I wish that was the truth. I set about trying to learn, and I started asking my friends what they knew, and I found out they didn't know anything either. We ended up starting to have support groups. We ended up starting to get together and talk about certain things. Next thing you know, we started to put the information we found on a website, and it built itself from there.
So the connection between father and son is vital in influencing the lifestyle or the outcome of a son, and or daughter, for that matter. But for today, we're focused on the sons. Say more about the influence.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Let's take one at a time. Fathers and daughters and fathers and sons are both very strong. But the fathers, over research over time after time, increasingly evoke empathy from boys. Because having, and I say father figure, fathers, of course, are the paternal fathers, and father figures are the male role model that is strongly around that child.
Thank you again for joining us on Stay Sane Now with Claudine Struck. Stay sane over the next week, and we'll meet again next Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, here on 7th Wave Network.
And my own sovereign nation, dedicated to a transformation.